Within your organization, you may hear conversations about diversity among your residents, clients, or staff. Perhaps you have a diversity committee whose purpose is to advise and implement diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Or your team might participate in special training aimed at creating diversity awareness. How is diversity defined? Diversity refers to the range of human identities and differences that exist. One interesting way to look at diversity is by looking at the diversity wheel. In 1990, Marilyn, Loden, and Judy Rosener developed a framework for thinking about the different dimensions of diversity within individuals and institutions. The wheel was created to help initiate conversations about similarities and differences that cross societal and cultural boundaries. It's still widely recognized today. Let's take a look. The first dimension, or the middle of the wheel, is personality. This includes an individual's likes and dislikes, values, and beliefs. Personality is shaped early in life and is both influenced by and influences the other layers throughout one's lifetime and career choices. A commonly discussed personality trait is introversion versus extroversion. As extroverts, some of us think while we talk, and as introverts, some of us think first and then talk. These are two very different approaches, and becoming aware of whether someone is an introvert or extrovert often sheds light on why they think and act in certain ways. The next dimension on the diversity wheel is internal. This includes the 6 key areas of diversity and is core to our identity. It is the layer in which many divisions between and among people exist, and which forms the core of many diversity efforts. These dimensions sometimes include the first things we see in other people, such as race or gender, and on which we make many assumptions and base judgments. They include national origin, ethnicity, physical and mental ability, gender, sexual orientation, race, and age. Now let's look at external dimensions. This layer often determines in part with whom we develop friendships and what we do for work. This layer also tells us much about whom we like to be with and what we do as hobbies or for fun. There's also diversity in the workplace. Organizational dimensions concern the aspects of culture found in a work setting. While much attention of diversity efforts is focused on the internal dimensions, issues of preferential treatment and opportunities for development or promotion are impacted by the aspects of this layer. One of the most interesting dimensions of diversity is era. Each generation entering into our organizations will experience historical events in different ways and will shape very distinctly how we see the world and what decisions we make. Do you remember where you were when JFK was shot? Do you remember 9/11? Imagine that some people being born or who are very young will not have the same experience of the COVID-19 pandemic that we do now. Most of us have the opportunity to work in this sector of aging with all the generations in one space. What if the next time you meet someone, you take a moment to consider that they are seeing the world in an entirely different way than you? And then imagine that this is good. Diversity makes the spaces you're in more interesting and innovative as each person contributes in the way only they can.